telling you, the end of that opening is just missing a tiny little dog bark. It would just make it so much better.
It would make it better. So, Nick, let's set up our conversation today. We have Fran Camp coming up.
So the theme for Fran Camp, and this is going to be a transformative Fran Camp for any brand that attends, much different than other conferences. And we've already set the tone that these are master classes or masterminds all built together. So the community of people that are there all work together to try to help either solve issues that exist for brands or a common thing that we're trying to solve. So in New Jersey this year, one, if you have not signed up, please do so soon. We're going to cut off registrations shortly. You can go to 1851francamp.com to register. We are going to do a live workshop on preparing your brand for really an AI transformation. Today, we're going to be talking about the fact that your brand will be left behind if you don't put this into play. And frankly, it's starting to feel almost when early starters into like Facebook or early adapters into Facebook were the ones that built up bigger fan audiences when it mattered, that we are almost becoming too late if you haven't set your game plan as a franchisor. So today's topic is going to start the discussion and says why most franchise brands will be invisible in an AI-driven market. And it's because they don't have the playbook. In New Jersey, we're building the playbook. We are delivering the playbook, and we're actually implementing the playbook, including if you are at Fran Camp, we will be doing video recording of everybody that is there to record a 2-minute Why You, Why Now video that will then teach you on how to take that video, turn it into more pieces of content that starts answering questions that your candidate is searching for. So to frame this, Charles, I'm going to just ask you for your own experience with AI, not necessarily as a tool that creates ease of your day or operations or a plugin, more so of delivering the story of either law firm or Good Spark. What's been your relationship with AI tools, and what has been the outcome of you putting in some hard work to frame the narrative for either the law firm or for Good Spark?
I think your analogy to early days of Google and SEO and those first movers, I think that's the right analogy that every franchise brand should adopt. So for everyone listening, especially at Fran Camp, there's opportunity out there, and chances are everyone who's on this live stream, you're under leveraging the opportunity. Also, on the other end of the spectrum, you don't want to become over dependent on it because it's going to change over time. What I'm seeing right now is that AI is giving brands immense tools to deploy if they use it the right way. Right? The wrong way is creating generic AI content, being lazy, flooding websites and web pages with AI content, running to all these third-party listings that don't have credibility, and maybe signing up with vendors. I just think that's sort of like a killing field. We're going to group everyone in this bucket, and then AI, from a visibility standpoint and a marketing standpoint, they're going to get hurt there. I think the strategic analysis is, number one, what we're finding with so many brands, you're underutilizing AI and AI visibility. And that was probably a function also of not having the right SEO strategy for years. And if you didn't have the right SEO strategy, the brands and businesses that took advantage of it leapfrogged ahead of everyone else. They took a leadership position. The good news for everyone else that doesn't have that position is AI is sort of a reboot. SEO, search engine, it's all AI now. And so now's the time to refilter, hopefully, what is a compelling brand story and value proposition, refilter it through AI. Nick, you used the term of AI is the new franchise broker. Start setting up that dialogue. And really what we're going to discuss during Fran Camp, and more than discuss, we're going to build out game plans from What is your base level AI visibility? Things you need to be doing right now. Everyone listening, does your website have a footer that is AI driven to communicate what AI is, what your brand is all about? And is it repeated on all your pages? Those are low hanging fruit items. We're going to focus on those. Second is we're going to recast your brand story through AI understanding and how AI is going to compare you to other brands. And then the third is to amplify the story, really use the AI tools in a different way that everyone else is using them. Because this open space, eventually it's going to start getting crowded and the AI models are going to shift. And so there's definitely opportunity. More important than the opportunity is if you don't start leveraging and adapting now, there's going to be no shot.
Okay, you touched on it. Now answer my question. What has been your relationship with AI, with the law firm or with Goodspark?
Is very malleable right now. If you're genuine and you're willing to put in the time, it can markedly impact your business. And for franchise brands, it can actually create leads and create opportunity for you. That's my experience. AI, I mean, there is intelligence behind it. You need to be genuine. But I think the opportunity I'm seeing with AI is in the white space, the space that not everyone is looking at. So if you're a brand in a certain investment level or certain category, AI is going to dig deeper beyond the generics. It's going to look toward that story, how the founder did certain things, what the philosophy of the brand is, the whys behind the brand. And what my experience is with AI is it's weaving together all of these narratives and these sub narratives. And it's so it really requires an all of the above approach when you're considering content. Did that answer it, Nick, or am I just going on and on here?
I think to some degree. I mean, like I'll say, like I put into ChatGPT what are the top franchise law firms. And I think you've put in a lot of work into the baseline. And again, like the fundamentals, which we're going to go through at Frank Camp, which is, do you have an AI SEO footer? Content wise, and this is going to be a hard one because like brands over indexed into blogs. I've asked a million brands. I'm like, when's the last time you went to a franchise website and read a blog? They're like, I've never done that. I was like, right. So it's more like a technical thing than it is a value driven thing. Like people don't read that stuff. So here, authentic content is already creating a rotation. And I think you've done a good job of creating authentic content. Video is good, but video with text is better. And so you've done a good job of connecting those two dots. And so what you've done is, like it says, like top boutique franchise specialists, and you're listed as a boutique because you're not the really big firms that charge a crap ton. You are in a sweet spot that's really designed to help majority of franchisors in a scaling way. But you're listed number one in the way this format has done. Now, I say that as a cautionary statement in two ways. Now, I would argue that you are the top boutique law firm. I would argue that until I'm blue in the face. But the reality is you've done a lot of the groundwork to make sure that you are recognized for that work in an AI-driven world. That's part of where I don't think the plane has landed, because the way that content is served up now in search is dependent on what the AI is reading and absorbing. And so let's just say there's another law firm out there that is in fact the greatest law firm that ever existed, but hasn't entered the conversation. They are actually already behind because you've already positioned to be at the top of it. That's marketing. And obviously you have to deliver on a product or service. So for you as a franchisor, you have to understand a few things. One is AI is creating your narrative now, whether you are contributing or entering the room or the arena or not. So you need to understand what it's saying about it. Well, how would a candidate use AI? It's going to say, what are the blind spots of owning this brand? What are the pros and cons of owning this brand? What are the risks that I need to be aware of? Is this the right franchise for me? And so if I'm you, I'm understanding what the result is currently. You're not going to be able to change it overnight, but now you can start building a game plan to enter the arena in the narrative. The reason we say it's going to replace brokers in the future is if we're being super transparent, or I'm going to put this on me. Majority of franchise brokers are positioned as a free coach. That's how they sell their services to someone. I coach you for free. I get paid by the franchisor. That coaching component is deeply valuable to someone that's considering buying a business. This coaching component is deeply valuable to someone that's considering buying a house. The coaching component is deeply valuable to someone who's thinking about buying a car. Well, in franchising, there's not a lot of transparency onto how the commissions work. AI is going to continue to break down that transparency. And so now if you're thinking about buying a franchise, you might use either AI of today or AI of tomorrow and say, hey, what are the pros and cons of owning this business? You're going to be able to get all the coaching done through a discussion with your AI agent. What that means is franchisors are going to be able to have the opportunity, if you've entered the narrative, to drive more organic leads back to your business if you've answered the right questions, the frequently asked questions of the franchise buyer. What that will also do is it's going to change the game of cost of acquisition, which is currently, especially in a broker world, that's your franchise fee. That's your cost of acquiring a franchisee. If you no longer have to pay that commission, because you're not going to pay that commission to ChatGPT, you're going to have these funds that are going to give you the ability for an emerging brand maybe to strengthen your bench and the support, because the magic of franchising will not be disrupted by AI. The magic of franchising is the human-to-human connection of encouraging someone to change the wealth for their family by buying into a franchise that they believe in, that met the expectations, that is supported by human beings that are actually supporting the transactional things that are happening within the business. So I say all this to very long-winded to say, one, Charles, you've done a tremendous job. You want to, if anybody, any supplier or any franchisor wants to look at a blueprint, go look at Charles's law firm website or the Good Spark site. And you're going to see it's a work in progress because it could change tomorrow. 1851 has done a tremendous job of setting up 1851. We've overinvested in AI SEO so that we are the narrative for franchising above everybody else that's in franchise news. We index on this. And so I say all this because now if you aren't in this discussion, if you're not in the AI game, this is why FrankCamp is valuable. This is why this discussion is valuable. This is why you should be asking questions on this webinar so that we can help guide you. Because if you don't get into this, your competitors may. If your competitors are in this, it's going to put you behind, and you're going to have to find ways to compete.
Yeah, and just guys, a couple of things to Nick's point, and as you're on this live stream, something I think you should be thinking about, and something we're going to dive into at FrankCamp. Let me put this slide open. Sorry, guys. If we look at, Nick, I'm sorry I took you out. I don't know how to use the functionality. But think about as we go forward with AI, and one of the exercises we're going to have at FrankCamp is understanding the difference between human understanding and AI interpretation. So when AI is evaluating, someone goes and they're looking to buy a particular franchise, or they're comparing franchises, AI is going to be very linear. They're going to look at category plus intent, buyer fit, and outcome signals, right? So at the human level, we're focused on the purpose. What's the purpose of our brand? At the AI level, what category do we fit into? What's the economic opportunity, right? On that opportunity front, who are the perfect fit franchise buyers? At the human level, we're talking about transformation. And at the AI, what are the signals of transformation? So as you think about your AI footprint, if you spend the time in planning, and this is a lot of what we're going to be planning at FranCamp, not only can you influence AI, you could do it in an organic way and in a genuine way. Consider a couple of things. Imagine on your website, say you're in a particular part of the industry, say you're in home service and it's lawn care, for lack of a better, right? And say lawn care is a big industry, but maybe you're in roofing. Imagine part of your Q&A and part of your conversation, if on your website you talk about why roofing may be a better opportunity than lawn care, gutters, and other items. Why is that impactful? Because when AI is answering those questions, it is going to intuitively start evaluating what are the alternative categories for you. So while you're talking in terms of transformation franchisees, one of the foundational items we're going to focus on in FranCamp is number one, your AI footer. Number two, what is your AI positioning? The category you're in as a franchise brand, who your perfect fit franchisees are, what are the alternative franchises, and what should AI be evaluating when it compares you to others? And if you're not telling that story, to Nick's point, other people are going to tell it. And then appreciate that, Maria. And will those funds ultimately go down the road to as AI starts to monetize search? You know, as to Scott's point, we've got to imagine AI is always going to try to monetize, and same thing that happened with Google in other ways is going to happen with AI. But, you know, I could tell you, I don't think maybe until this year, our firm has ever paid for paid ads. It's always been organic. I think that opportunity is there, and I think it's going to reboot and reset for everyone who's taking advantage of it. In terms of Nick, in terms of the FranCamp conference itself, I know we have speakers lined up, but I think for everyone, the real key is this needs to be a working session. So when you leave FranCamp, a couple of things. A, we've set a game plan for your AI footprint. B, you've actually gone through a workshop and exercise where you're now recasting your brand story through an AI prism. And four, we're going to have a content strategy that you could implement when you go back. Your brand, your transformation, your AI narrative, how you're fitting into the industry. I think if we do a deep dive on those items and we're really genuine, it's going to keep yielding, because then the content keeps developing as we go forward.
Can you put up Marita's post? She said, not that one. She said, tell us specifically how to tell it. I said,
I didn't see that. Sorry, Marita.
With lots of video testimonials and content. So I'm gonna make this easy for you, and you can obviously do the same. I just put into ChatGPT, does the Big Biscuit have a good AI content base? Short answer, no. The Big Biscuit does not have a strong AI SEO content base right now. They have a solid franchise site, but from an AI search standpoint, they're missing a massive opportunity, or they're leaving a massive opportunity on the table. Let me break it down like an operator, not an SEO agency. And it starts breaking it down. So here's what they say where you are weak. And again, like here's your tactical thing that you're able to use. No topic authority. They're not ranking for best breakfast franchise, how to open a breakfast franchise, cost to open a breakfast franchise marketing strategies. Well, the reason why is because it's not like the way that you've structured your content isn't built around that. It's not built around authority. So obviously, like, you've worked hard at this. I wouldn't throw away all the other things that you've done from Q&As or videos or et cetera, but I would reshape the structure of it and maybe build these as landing pages on their own. No content volume. AI rewards depth, repetition, and topical dominance. It says you have a handful of static pages, minimal ongoing content. And so that's invisible to ChatGPT and Google. No answer engine content. They're missing short, structured Q&A pages. So there's probably a structural thing there. And then, I mean, there's other things. I'm not going to keep going on here. So it says, like, the brutal truth is you look strong in franchising, but you're invisible in AI discovery. But it doesn't cost you money to figure this out. Again, I hope you're coming to FranCam, because this is exactly what we're going to be going through. AI will help write the game plan. This is where you can use it as a smart tool. You go on ChatGPT, you say, look, I want to make sure our site is optimized. What are the easy, low-hanging things that won't cost me a lot of money that I can do to make my website more AI structured? Like, ChatGPT will give you the answer. So I'm glad that you put that up there. And specifically, the specific on how you do this is go plug your site back into ChatGPT, have it audit it. And frankly, like, there's other prompts that I would use. I try to tell AI what I'm expecting. Like, I would say, I'm an AI SEO specialist from the year 2035. Tell me what I need to do on my website to make sure I am at the top of the search for X, Y, and Z. So I would do that.
Well, right. So foundational items. What's the one-liner in the footer of your website that says what your franchise opportunity is and what makes it unique? 2, if you're just getting started, what is the one foundational page you're going to create on your website about your franchise opportunity that AI is going to use as authoritative and feed that story? So if I were a franchisor and I'm just getting started, and this is something we're going to work on live at FranCamp, let's create that AI-driven narrative page. What the brand is, when it was founded, who it serves, what makes it unique, why it's a compelling opportunity, and then facts all related to the franchise. And even there's keys. I don't want to make this overly technical, and I'm not sure how long this is going to even be valid, but years ago on websites, they had schema markups for Google and other search engines, so it understood data. And it's an antiquated thing. People got away from the schema markup. It's really just coding, whereas AI now is using that schema markup to actually decipher information on websites. So there's content strategy and there's some technical strategy, but foundationally, if you don't have an AI-driven footer on your website and you don't have an AI-driven authority piece as to how you want AI to, in an organic way, view your brand and then branch out into content, I mean, those are the most direct things you should be doing right now, and something that everyone leaves FranCamp is going to have when we go through the conference.
Charles, throw up Lee's question.
How do you see all these questions?
Because I'm smart and I use AI. Where are you telling the story? Is that just in FAQs on your website or a LinkedIn post? So here's what you need to think through. Again, like, authority is built off of humans. So if you're going to have an FAQ on the website, like, I wouldn't just make it simple FAQ. I'll tell you, anybody can use this. Steal this from us. We started building what you're going to see in our FDD videos for our clients with an FAQ page on their website, because what we wanted to do is we wanted to create in essence, a mini masterclass, so that when a candidate looks at the FDD, we have a narrative on that. So let's just say you have litigation of the past. You can talk about that. You can talk about how the investment, like, look, there's rising costs in this, but here's what we're offsetting from a marketing standpoint. Like, it allows you to enter the arena and have a point of view on it. But now you've created a video of you talking about your FDD, so that when a candidate is in the sales process, you can even send it to them in a drip campaign and let them watch it so that they understand what you're saying. That's an example of really good content followed by text that builds an FAQ that gets posted. Now comes the distro side. Distro means I've built this piece of content. I filmed the video. I wrote the piece of content. Now I need to make sure it's not trees falling in the woods. So now I need to put it to work. How do you put it to work? You now post that onto LinkedIn. You can post it as an article on LinkedIn. You can buy an ad campaign against your YouTube video because you put it on there. You put good SEO on the YouTube video, so it's searchable. You've inserted into your drip campaigns. You've shared it with your team to get engagement. Like now, all of a sudden, you take a piece of content, you put it to work. So where are you telling the story? It's not necessarily about where you tell it. It's about how you tell it. Is it in depth? Is it exciting? And then secondly, how do you distribute it and create some noise around it? Because you just sitting there and waiting for people to react might not get you to the place that you want to get to.
Yeah, and I think for Lee, the way I would look at FAQs as foundation setting, it's not going to win the day for you. It's sort of expected as to what you should have. So you'll have foundational FAQs, and then you should have FAQs on prime content pages. But I wouldn't look at the FAQs as winning the AI SEO battle. I'd look at it as being supportive. I think also when you think about content and video, now's the time to be genuine about the content and video. What I am finding with AI is it will pick up innocuous statements and comments that happen organically, but then they connect it to the brand. So if there's a video, we have a client, we did a video with her, and I forget exactly what she was referring to, but it was talking about the early stages of her journey when she started the business, and then it showed up in the article written from and what we found is AI took that statement that was only her describing her story and then described the franchise opportunity of saying, hey, this is good for people who are thinking X. So AI is getting smarter. It's looking for genuine statements. And that's why brand story at the foundational level, who you are, why now, how you help franchisees, that all needs to be there and genuine. And then you build the story around it, and then you optimize it for AI. And right now, to the earlier point, there's early opportunity on AI. It won't last forever. And if you don't at least build that foundation now, well, we're going to fall behind.
Yeah, I mean, like all we're doing is talking about how you can take off that question, by the way. We're talking about where it stands today on April 9th, 2026, which would be great when someone watches this back after you and I are long dead. Like, well, look at this ancient video on how these old guys were talking about AI. The reality is that the best practices move in real time and the goalpost is moving. And the same was true with social. Like if we go back to Facebook, when fan pages were first created, it was a rush to get fans. Like everyone was like, I need to get more fans. Then the goalposts shifted and Facebook was now in the business of making money. And so they're selling ads and now it's zero reach. So your fan count didn't even matter. Like followers, fans are irrelevant. Nobody's going to see it because unless you spend ad dollars, now that's the only way you build audience. So I say that because don't over index into a category and spend a ton of money or resources on one thing, because a year from now, things are going to change dramatically.
They are. And that's why anything you do now, don't just do it for AI, do it for the genuine conversation with your candidates and the positioning of your brand, right? So if you look at one of these slides, one of the exercises we're going to talk about at FranCamp, AI prefers explanations, definitions, what is type structures, but that doesn't mean robotically creating FAQs, which is what the large majority of vendors and brands are doing. Instead, it's publishing thoughtful information about, so for example, what is a recurring home maintenance franchise? Why do most handyman franchises fail to scale? The negative, the counter narratives. What's the growth gap in a home services business? AI is going to pick that up and it's going to create significant viability and credibility. And it's going to bring your brand into the conversation. What's not going to bring it in is, it helps, but we're number one service franchise or, things that are just boasting and lack depth. It really is. What do your franchisee candidates want to know? How do I succeed? How do you help me succeed? What does success look like? So imagine, an article and content all built around with AI in mind. What does success look like for home service franchisees or for restaurant franchisees or QSR franchisees? Because now that's not an article that's specific to your brand. That's industry wide. AI, someone seeking another brand or evaluating if it's profitable to own a restaurant or what's the ROI potential you should look for. You can't violate item 19. But if you're giving that industry information, your brand's going to come into the story.
Can you give me share for a second?
Yeah, I don't know how to do any of this, Nick.
Hold on. Well, ask AI. Like, you got to have your chat sheet ready.
I don't even know that.
Okay, hold on. Here. I'm going to show something because we could do this in real time. Can you add that screen? There you go. All right. You didn't volunteer, but I'm putting you up here. Big Biscuit. So I said, can you give me unbiased? I said, can you give me an unbiased list of top 5 biscuit franchises as well as a comparison chart for how you got there? And so I'll show you. The positive is, like, you're not completely out of it. You came in at number 5. And so it starts breaking down, like, what is the value? It says, like, smaller but high upside emerging franchise play. So that's good. It's comparing you to these other players. I don't know all of them, but here's the thing that's valuable for you. How I rank these, the methodology. Biscuit-centric identity. Biscuit is hero product, higher ranking, not just a menu item. Franchise visibility, scale and momentum, and brand strength. And the reality is a lot of this ends up being outside content that helps you create that story. But I'm giving you this, again, as an example. Like, all the answers are here if you use it as a tool to help you figure out that game plan. And that's the thing.
On that example, for, say, the highest ranking brand, does it reference a web page on the brand's website? Or there's no access to that?
For the top ranking brands.
Or one of them.
Is there a website that is better than the rest from an AI SEO standpoint? Let's see what it says. It's a great question. I love it. It's always telling me I ask great questions, which is great. None of the top biscuit franchises are truly winning AI SEO yet, but one is clearly ahead of the rest. Winner, best AI SEO foundation, Bojangles. Why Bojangles is ahead? They're not great, but they're the only one even trying to build content depth. What they're doing right: active franchise blog with ongoing articles about expansion, leadership, and growth strategy. Content tied to growth strategy, best chicken franchises, how to franchise. That matters because AI pulls related topics, structured educational content, and consistent publishing. Also, they include actual data points, AUV, daypart mix, expansion metrics. They publish growth narratives regularly. Translation: they are starting to look like a source, not just a brand. Yeah. So that's a good insight here that hopefully anybody, again, like, it's not like I'm doing anything special here. I'm just asking the right questions. But there's in that category, there's one that you want to look at and say, okay, they're becoming a source, not just a brand.
Nick, that's really helpful. And guys, too, I think we all need to realize that everything's being disrupted, and the days of just doing videos and writing content, sort of everyone's doing that. So we're going to, there's a time now to differentiate strategy. One of the things we're going to be sharing for FranCamp members is we've been actually testing out at Good Spark. What is the next generation of, real conversations look like? How AI is reacting to those conversations and content, and what it looks like. And you'll see we're focused on a formula of really what the journey is as a franchisor, entrepreneur, and for franchisees. So at FranCamp, we are going to go through some live case studies. We've been testing them out for the past year. And of course, that's something that we've been focusing on with some FranCamp and Good Spark members. So that for sure, those are big priority items. Here's a comment. Updating web pages more often and more thoughtful. Am I hearing that correctly? Marita, yeah. And I think it's not so much about the volume. It's about the quality and it's about the strategy and planning.
And consistency.
Yeah.
Once-
Although I'm
once-
going to challenge that a little. It's very strange what's going on with AI. It really looks, there is a conclusion that consistency is critical. Volume is not, right? I think it's depth and authoritative nature. And then also validation through third-party sources where AI sees repetition of what's being put out there. I think the biggest problem is brands and businesses that put it on autopilot, they're mass generating content. They're not going to get the results because they're not correlating the brand messaging the right way.
All right, hold on. I have an answer for that. So, said totally fair pushback from Charles
About
volume.
Okay.
Said, here's how you can respond to Charles in a way that's grounded, rational, and hard to argue with. AI doesn't rank one article, it synthesizes across many sources. The more consistently a brand shows up across a topic, the more likely it's going to be referenced. Give him a real world search. Tell him, go search 10 different questions about the same topic, like how to sell a franchise, best franchise marketing strategies, franchise lead generation. You'll see the same brands and the sites keep showing up. The reputation is driven by content coverage, topic depth, and volume. So it's saying not 100 bad articles, that's useless. 50 focused, structured articles equals authority. So it's not that you're wrong.
No, and my concern there is when we focus on volume, quality goes down. And that's the whole point of the FranCamp conference in June. Let's set the right heartbeat for your AI story, and let's get that.
Put up the new question. Franchise portals do not have authority. Let's be clear there. There's no authority. That's not third party. Third party would be PR that's not in like some bullshit publication.
Yep.
And self-serving, but we set up 1851 on the brand side to help solve this. LinkedIn to some degree, but LinkedIn's kind of blocked off in the way that AI is searching for it. Like LinkedIn, shame on LinkedIn. LinkedIn needs to go correct this, but the content on LinkedIn is not overly searchable. I could go on a whole nother topic on that. I hate PR Newswire because there's not any, I'd say there's no value in it, but it does create linkage around the web that does help you in distributing your story. So no to portals, yes to publications, more to PR, things that you pray for, not what you pay for, will make a big difference in your process.
Yeah, I think it does. And I think that's for me where I get cautious about the volume, right? To stay really focused on what narrative you're telling and do it in a way that's deeper than the competition versus more volume. And so let me see here. What we're gonna
some of the whole presentation. What are you doing?
I'm not. But no, look, everyone who's listening to us, right? I think there's some good things here. And this is what we're gonna do at FranCamp. You should be there. By the way, it's in our home market. It's gonna be it's gonna be a great event like it was last year. But things for you to think about, everyone who joined us, which I appreciate, having that compelling AI narrative. Right now, ask AI about your brand. Should you buy the franchise? And understand items we're going to walk away from at FranCamp. What is your AI anchor statement? What category are you positioned in? What problems you solve? Ideal franchisees, counter narrative to your business, and technical aspects, schema, and some other things. And then we're going to talk about broadcasting, creating genuine content. Rita asked all the great question. When and where is FranCamp? It's going to be in New Jersey. I think the dates are June We put up a link. Is it June 2nd it starts, Nick?
June 1st to the 3rd.
June 1st to the 3rd. It's in Red Bank, New Jersey. We're in a great town, right by the shore, great restaurants, water. We're going to have a bunch of events, and it worked out really well. But the point about Frank Camp is when we step in the doors, we're going to be working. There's also some great networking.
I love the way that you sell.
I don't sell.
It's like water, food, shelter. Maybe we should ask AI how to sell Frank Camp.
No, don't ask me. But Lee, the main hurdle I see for franchisors needing to overcome is AI outputs are limited by its inputs. I mean, human input is still the main driver. What the prospect is asking AI. I think that's smart. And I think if you correlate that to understanding and focusing on the human inputs, then you could help drive that story through the website and other content.
Well, I'll give another statement. I mean, some of the content that we're creating on 1851 franchise is what are the questions you need to be asking AI as a franchise buyer. So when we put out that article, we're doing that to give the tools back to the buyer to help them understand what inputs they have to put in. So totally companionship. Yeah, that's right. There's lots of hugs at Frank Camp. Charles is a hug giver.
We've had wiffle ball. Late night wiffle ball, bocce. It's a good event. Nick, just let everyone know because I do a poor job. Frank Camp coming up June 1 to 3. What should everyone expect?
This is not a conference where you get lost in PowerPoints and slides. This is a conference where you engage and walk away with tangible results. And even if you don't come there with the mindset that you need to get something out of it, you will walk away with relationships that will give you the tools so that you can continue networking and understand the wins beyond that.
You did a good job, Nick. Guys,
my AI script.
I appreciate everyone joining us, guys. If you have any questions, Nick, when is our next live stream scheduled for?
Every Thursday, same time, same place.
So next live stream, we gave a broad overview.
No, don't do this. This is what you do. I'm going to stop you right now. Right. You start making these promises of what we're going to do and what we're going to cover, and then we don't do it. And then we're the ones.
But we're going to dive deeper. We're going to, and by the way, everyone on this live stream, if you'd like, reach out to our team, give us your website, and we'll dive into your AI story on the next live stream.
This is where this is where you get in trouble. You start giving things away, and then who's going to do the work? Come on, Charles.
Marita, everyone, really appreciate everyone joining us today. Nick, any final words?
You got this.